Hi everybody and welcome to this final round expert division video for the Pitstop 9-hole cup. The checkered flag is in sight on this tournament. We've got replays and adjustments for all 9 holes. Make sure you hit thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Leave me a comment, let me know how you're getting on. We've got some drops here already for you, and anything I didn't drop, or if there's any other routes and suggestions to provide, then I'll give those as well, because there's several ways to play some of these holes and there's brilliant opportunities to be had. Good luck everybody, hope you all do well. Let me know how you get on. Let's get started with hole number 1. Hole number 1, and we are going to play with Kingmaker and the APOC. Going to set up here at the top of plus 6 yards with the APOC 5 and above. That will be top of plus 12 with APOC 4. 5.8 top spin, 3 bars side spin to the left. Look at the ball guide if you've got a different club level here, or you could work out your ring references as well. But with APOC 5 and 6, it is blue ring touching the rough. I'm going to push the rings to adjust, otherwise the plants and the rocks are in the way. Max plus 10 on the adjustment here, maximum distance 10% elevation. I push 4 rings at a time, try and be as accurate as possible. And then we're going to take our shot. You might go into overpower slightly with APOC 4, in which case add that on. And it is 0.8 ball curl to the left just before the circle drops, which is how I measure overpower, as I don't use grid lines. Perfect ball away drive distance is going to be around the 355 yard mark. Second shot, BWPC on the notepad, stands for bottom white pin check. So move your target with the ball guide over the hole and look at where the bottom of the white ring touches the pin. Look at your plus yards. Plus 2, in my case, works out 42% slider for the drop. And then we're going to find our position here. It's a no spin shot, so nice and simple. And then we're going to have the ball guide just before the front edge of the cup. So a small gap between the tip of the ball guide and the front edge of the cup. So plus 2 on the bottom white pin check, 42% slider, 10% elevation. This one is pulled over the bullseye. Make sure you do the same as well. 2% per yard. So if you had plus 1, you go 40%. Plus 3, you go 44%, because you'd be slightly further away. Perfect ball away drops very nicely here for the eagle on hole 1. Hole number 2, we're going to go with the rough bump in this wind direction. Very, very good chance for a hole in 1. Setting spin first, 1 bar of top spin and just over 2 bars side spin to the left with a Kingmaker. Ring references as follows: the inner ring, or the green ring, whichever you want to call it, at plus 4, touching the rough. When you look at the ball guide here, it is just past the hole, and it is glancing the right edge of the cup. So a couple of references to look out for there. Obviously, you've got to judge your wind angle yourself as well. You might need to tweak this one. Try and keep the wind below 8 miles an hour if you can. And the adjustment is max plus 10, power 3 settings. Bear in mind, a great left here may well be trouble. You may miss the rough with a great left. So only play this one if comfortable. Take a token or 2, try out the shot for yourself, tweak if you need to. And a perfect ball here is going to have a good chance. So bounces in the centre of the rough nicely and tracks along the green square column, just falling in on the right-hand side there for a hole in 1. On to the third hole now, par 5. You don't have to use the ball that I'm using here. A Wiseacre will work nicely. The only reason I picked this one is because it gives me plus 3 over power stability. It's a no movement target shot, and you want a 5.8 top spin, 2 bars side spin to the left, power 5 ball. So Wiseacre is going to work fine, but obviously this one gives me plus 3, so it's easy to hit perfect. If you've got one, you can use it. Max plus 10, power 5, and then we are going to push up with APOC 5 and above. I'm pushing up here a total of 11 yards. With APOC 4, you'd have to go another 7 yards. You'd have to go 18 yards up. Half a ball of curl to the left, full overpower. It will be a slower needle with APOC 5. You will have a shakier needle with APOC 4 because you'll be nearer max. But we go with half a ball curl to the left and hit perfect. And it rolls along the fairway very nicely here and gets to a drive distance of 469. Second shot, we're going to do a top white pin check. So have the top of the white ring touching the pin. Look at the plus yards displayed. +7 in my instance here. It's going to be 3 bars of backspin. So then add your spin and have a look at the ball guide here. Because we've got a tailwind angle, going to just leave it to the front edge of the cup. No need to go through the hole at all. So ball guide to the front edge of the cup. +7 for the top white pin check is going to be 75% slider, 15% elevation. Most cases you are going to be pulling over the bullseye anyway with this wind strength with a wind 1. But in case you're using a different ball or you get a low wind, just make sure you pull it over the bullseye as well. So 75% slider for +7. Obviously, once again, 2% per yard. Hit perfect and the backspin grabs very nicely and we drop for an albatross with this aggressive route on hole 3. Hole number 4, we're going to play with 5 bars of topspin and 3 bars side spin to the left. So we're going with APOC and Kingmaker. Then with APOC 5 and 6, it's half of the blue ring inside the rough at the top of +6. Ball guide, as you can see, is pretty much down the centre of the fairway, up ahead. You'll be at +12 with APOC 4, different ring references though. So make sure you take that into consideration. The adjustment here, maximum distance, 10% elevation. So we're at +6. You can see here we're adjusting down the plus yards, so you're not going to go into overpower even with APOC 4 here, which is nice to know. And then we're going with half a ball curl to the left, and you want to hit perfect here. This is quite a narrow line, but it's a very consistent drive for me. It's been working very well in testing. Bounces nicely on the fairway and rolls towards the end of the rough, but we're not threatening the rough at all. Drive distance 358. Second shot, we're going to play with the thorn for a rough bump, and we're doing a fringe check where the fringe meets the green. +2 here, make sure you're using the right fringe line. It's where the fringe meets the green. +2 is going to be 72% slider, and we're going with 4.2 top spin and 1 bar side spin to the right. You might need to just tweak the top spin, add an extra click here. I had 4.1, but then I upped it to 4.2. And with the 1 bar of right spin as well, you want to have the ball guide just going to the front edge of the cup, because again we've got tailwind here, which is going to push us a bit quicker to the hole. So 72% slider for a fringe checker +2, 5% elevation, and once again with the thorn, pulling this one over the bullseye, make sure you do the same. Perfect ball away here is going to catch the rough very nicely, and there's a very good chance of dropping this one for the eagle here on hole number 4. Hole 5 is a touchy little shot. I've burnt a lot of edges here. Did get a drop though after a few attempts. We're going to go with 1.8 top spin, and we're going to go with 0.3 side spin to the right. And here we're looking at the plus yards with sniper 10. It's going to be at +10 yards, ball guide as shown. And you'll see there is the thinnest of amounts of the red ring outside the rough on the left. So just a tiny amount of the red ring outside the rough. Top of +10. Try and keep the wind below 8 miles per hour. I've not tested this in anything higher than that. We're making our adjustment is max +20, power 3 settings. But like I said, this is a bit of a touchy rough bump. Tough wind angle to drop this one. I'd rather have headwind, actually, or crosswind. Tailwind makes it a little bit tricky. Wind angle tweaks will be needed here, but thankfully we get this one in for a very nice hole-in-one, something to work with on hole 5. No movement target shot on hole 6. Start with your power 3 ball and the APOC. Add spin. We're going to go with 5.8 top spin, 1 bar side spin to the left. Then we're going to adjust max +10, max +10 on this one. After adjusting, if you've got APOC 4, you will have to push up 6 yards to compensate for the lack of distance, or 1.7 rings, whichever you prefer. Now in the video, I swapped to a power 4, side spin 3, wind 3 to give myself a slower needle. You don't have to do that though. Full overpower, nice slow needle if you swap to a higher power ball, but it's going to be fine as well if you can only stick with a Kingmaker. Hit perfect, no curl, and we've cleared the rough very nicely. Drive rolls along the next piece of fairway beautifully for a drive distance of 412. Second shot, we're going to play with Cataclysm. Now, even though I've got a power 4 ball, I'm limiting myself to play from the P3 max line. We're going with 2.5 backspin and 3 right spin. If you've got higher level Cataclysm here, this is going to help immensely because you'll have more ball guide. So I'm going to zoom in on that little tip of the ball guide, try and aim it as best you can to the hole. It's very difficult because just after the third bounce is where my ball guide runs out. In the video here, I made a different adjustment, and based on the miss, I've given you a tweak on the notepad. So I would suggest you go max +5. Stay with power 3 numbers for both the drive and the second shot, even if you switch ball, because we're setting up at P3 max both times. Perfect ball away, going to be a tricky one to drop with the ball guide that I've got here. Just missing on the left, a tweak should get you a little bit closer, but either way, you've got a safe eagle on hole 6. Nasty little wind angle here. We're not going to be sending it, that's for sure. Setting up at topper +1 with APOC 5 and above, topper +7 with APOC 4. Then we're going to add spin. I change the spin in a second, but it's definitely 5 top spin. In the end, though, I reduced down to 2 bars of right spin. So 5 top, 2 right. Blue ring touching the rough. If you've got APOC 5 and 6, you can use that reference. Other levels of driver will have different ring placements. Max +10 takes us into the plus yards quite a lot. So with APOC 4, you're going to be into overpower, but it should only be maybe 1 or 2 rings at best. And then we go for a plain ball shot, no curl. Perfect ball here, bouncing over the rough and the bunker. Going to go for an eagle from distance with the sniper. Drive distance here on this one is going to be 350 yards, around that amount at least. Second shot, we're going to add some backspin, and we want to find a consistent landing spot here. Going to be around 2 to 2.2 bars of backspin, depending on your drive. I'm looking at the clear ring touching the edge of the sand, with the landing point a few rings into where the bunker starts, level with that to the left, of course. Ball guide short as shown, because we've got a bit of tailwind angle. Then I'm going true club distance, 10% elevation here. That is a tweak based on the miss in the video. I believe I went with 15 here, so I would reduce that down to 10. So +2 is going to be, of course, 75% slider. +4 would be 80% slider. It's 2.5% per yard. As you can see, we're just missing on the left, a bit less on the adjustment there. Going with 10% would have got in nicely for the eagle. Another nasty little wind angle here on this par 3, hole number 8. Going to go with the quarterback. Adding spin first. It's going to be 2.2 backspin, or kind of 3 clicks, I think is what I went for with anybody measuring clicks. Power 3 minimum distance line with the ball guide through the hole. Okay, so P3 min line. Try and keep the wind below 8 if you can. Not tested this in higher winds, so have that in mind. Always advised to take a token or 2. Get comfortable with these setups. Tweak as you need to, depending on your eye, how you see the adjustments, your pull angle, and what ball or wind angle you've got. Max +0, power 3 here, and we catch the rough very nicely, and we drop it for a hole in 1. So take a token or 2, build yourself some tweaks, but a good chance on hole 8. Let's finish with an Albie on hole 9. No movement target once again. We're going with 5.8 top spin and 2 bars side spin to the left. Adjust max +10 from that no move position with APOC 5 and above. So max +10. Then there is going to be a little bit of pushing up to do here. So with APOC 5 and above, I'm going to push up here 1 ring, different ring amounts for APOC 7 and 8. With APOC 4, you would have to push up another 6 yards, another 1.7 rings. Then we're going with curl to the left there. You see the trail of the ball touching the triangle, so it's just around a ball and a quarter of curl to the left. and we're going full overpower. And we're getting to a drive of 432 yards. Second shot here, I've got landing position reference. You can use drive distance as well, though, if you're out of plus yards. 4 backspin and 1 right spin. Now, why do I use 1 right spin? It's because I want to align the ball guide with the wind angles. So when we're looking at the hole there, it's going to be after the first and second bounce. The spin will kick in, we'll have a nice straight tailwind in effect for the path of the ball to the pin. +3 landing position with Grizzly 9 would be, of course, +6 with Grizzly 8. That is going to be 78% slider, 10% elevation here. Use Grizzly 9 numbers regardless of your club level, because that matches what I'm using here in my shot. Perfect ball away, falls beautifully for an albatross on hole 9. Thank you for watching this video for the Pitstop 9-hole cup here on the channel. Don't forget to join us on Facebook as well. You can interact with me. If you've got any questions on the game, and not only me, but there will be other people to help answer as well. There'll be free guides posted from some of the excellent creators in the community, and links to other channels as well where you can get tips, help and support about the game. If you don't want to engage in any of that, just sit back and enjoy the discussion points. Over 10,000 members there, totally free to join. So head over there. I will see you there on the BK Golf Clash Facebook group.